Good morning and Happy New Year. It's New Year's Eve. This is important. We're going to be discussing the difference between an excuse and a reason. And the reason this is important, specifically for New Year's Eve, is because the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be getting countless calls from people who made very bad decisions New Year's Eve. So let's talk about it. Bottom line, the difference between an excuse and a reason is accountability. With an excuse, the dog ate my homework, I was drunk, it's not that big a deal, you're overreacting, I was running late, that's an excuse. A reason is, I was running late because I had a flat, not because you wanted to go pick up breakfast on the way to work. It was New Year's Eve. I was upset. I was alone. I didn't feel wanted, so I kissed the wrong person at midnight. Don't be mad. You're in a relationship. You had a fight. I hear this all the time. New Year's Eve, I will hear this over the next 2 weeks, probably 10 to 15 times. They had a fight either at the New Year's party, right before, or maybe a day or two, before, and they're feeling unloved, unwanted, rejected, dejected, and they wanted revenge. They wanted just to feel a little warmth from somebody. Big mistake. But that is a reason. It's a bad reason, but they're being honest about how they felt. So be honest. Don't gloss it over with an excuse that's, it's not that big a deal. It's a big deal. If it gets you before a judge, it's a big deal. If you have to pay a fine, it's a big deal. If it ends a relationship, it's a big deal. If it takes someone's life, it is a big deal. What just pisses me off, I'm sorry, beyond belief, I will get probably 3 to 5 calls that somebody in somebody's family or circle of friends, somebody got drunk, got behind the wheel of a car, and they either hurt someone seriously, ended their own life, or took somebody else's life. New Year's Eve. Well, they used to be able to handle their liquor. Well, obviously they can't now. Well, they didn't look that drunk. They didn't seem that drunk. He said he was okay. Take their keys. Don't let it go this far, because you can't unring that bell. If someone's dead, they're dead. You can't undo that. If someone has a traumatic brain injury and they're never going to be the same, you cannot undo that. Okay? Do not enable people, and, don't give me flimsy excuses when you call. Bottom line, that person knowingly got behind the wheel of a car under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or both, and drove. And they crashed their vehicle either into something, into someone, or both. And they took their own life, they hurt themselves, they took someone else's life, or they hurt someone else, or all of the above. Don't make excuses. The reason was they were drunk, they were irresponsible, they took someone's life. They weren't thinking. Well, they were thinking, they were just thinking unclearly. They were thinking under the influence of whatever they were on. Okay? I have heard this one in the past. Someone was at a New Year's party, and they had split up with their significant other a while back. So they were alone at this New Year's party, and their boss was at a New Year's party, the same party. And their boss's significant other was out of town visiting family for Christmas and New Year's. We both know where this is going, right? Bad things happened, and they left together. Well, what one person assumed was going to happen after this encounter and the other person assumed would happen, 2 completely different things. Now, the individual that contacted me was the employer, and they were just shitting kittens, because this is way bad. You cannot be sleeping with an employee. You think you should have thought of that. You had multiple opportunities to say no. You had multiple opportunities to take separate Ubers. You had multiple opportunities not to, pursue the line that you pursued. And yet here you are. And now their significant other found out. Why? Because this person made sure to leave little calling cards for when this person came home. The employee was sabotaging the relationship of the employer after they woke up together. It happens. It happens. The employee was fired from the job. The employee picked up their cell phone and they let everybody know what happened. So, big mess. So now that person is out of a job. A lot of relationships are affected by this, when all they had to do was get in separate Ubers, not let it go so far. Think. New Year's Eve, the bells go off and the fireworks go off and everybody's kissing everybody. That's fine. An innocent kiss is an innocent kiss. That's nothing. I'm going to be blunt here. Shoving your tongue down somebody's throat is a whole different matter. That's taking it to the next level. Back away. If you are in a relationship with somebody, the only person you need to be getting that kind of attention to and from is that other person. Behave yourself. Don't be stupid. Think. Do not react. Respond. Reacting is just, it feels good, let's do it at the moment. Responding takes a moment of thought. And God willing, you will have the common sense to be able to just walk away completely and say, I need to get a glass of ice water. I love New Year's. I love New Year's Eve. I'm at the lake. There will be a boat regatta tonight. All the boats will be out. Lots of music, lots of drunks. Lots of drunks on the lake in boats shooting fireworks and guns. The two don't mix. If you're drinking, stay away from firearms and fireworks for that matter. And people will be hurt. Absolutely. Happens every year. Use a little common sense. When you go back to work on Tuesday, I want you to be able to go to work with your head held high, wearing different clothes than you wore New Year's Eve. Okay? Just think before you act. Your actions are going to affect you one way or the other. So you have to take accountability for that. You have to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, this happened because I did X, Y, Z. Take accountability. That is a reason. I did this because I was drunk. I did this because I was under the influence. I did this because I thought I could drive. Those are reasons. They're not excuses. They're bad reasons, but they're honest reasons. The excuse would be, it was New Year's Eve. It's not that big a deal. They swerved into my lane first. Well, if you weren't drunk and high, maybe you could have avoided the collision completely. Please think. Save me the heartache of talking to the families and trying to talk them down when they're getting ready to bury a loved one. Or when they have a 14-year-old kid that was walking home from the neighbor's New Year's Eve party that was hit by a car. That happens. Please think. Just think. And if you are caught doing things you shouldn't be doing, don't make excuses. Man up. For the men, grow a pair of balls. For the women, grow a set of ovaries, If you are big enough and bad enough to get behind the wheel of a car and do something stupid, then you have to be grown up enough to accept accountability for that. Accept accountability for your actions, your inactions, attitudes, behaviors, beliefs, and the consequences. And for people that said, I thought they were probably going to be okay to drive home. Well, they didn't seem that drunk. Hey, you're on the line too. You could have taken their keys. You could have called them an Uber. At every gathering, every celebration, every party, please have a designated driver or more than one that are just drinking water or soda all evening, that they can help get people home safe. Be responsible. If you're hosting a gathering, think is more than just everybody having a good time. It's getting them home safe afterwards and making sure there's no collateral damage on the way. I know I'm being a Debbie Downer, but I just want you to have a little moment of clarity before you go out there. Remember, the difference between excuses and reasons are accountability, and we are all accountable.